Good morning, everybody. It looks like we are here, we are live, and we are really, really excited to get our digital discussion started. So, I just want to welcome everybody this morning. The digital discussion is an Inspire EDU series where we bring community leaders, educators, and people from all over Metro Atlanta to really just share all about their careers themselves as leaders and how we all connect in this digital world. I'm Onisha Freeman, the Director of Partnerships and Programs with Inspire EDU, and I am a mother, a parent, a community advocate, a technologist, a STEMinist, all those things. And I'm really, really proud to introduce our guest today. Joining me for today's digital discussion, Miss Valerie Mackey, CEO of Right Now Solutions. Thanks, Valerie, for being here.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Valerie, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Since this is about the family and a family discussion, I'll start with the family. So I do have two kids, twins, 14 years old, a girl and a boy. So knocked that all out at one time. And having 14-year-olds or freshmen is a very interesting place to be. Been married for 17 years. So having this discussion about the family is very cool. But other than that, I have been in the technology industry for now over 20 years, and I just keep it at over 20 so nobody guesses age. Um, but after being a technology leader for quite a while at places like Ernst& Young or EY and Coca-Cola, I decided I wanted to push the needle like you all in the digital divide and try to connect people to technology careers. So that's what we do. We specialize in trying to get people going in their careers and elevated from entry level to executive level.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I actually forgot that your kids were freshmen. I have a freshman too.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very interesting time to have all of our freshmen uh, kids to have our kids just, get started with school and that first year. Actually, just last night, I took my son to the school to do his orientation for a summer job. So I'm
Well,
really excited about him yes, he's ready to work and I'm not going to stop.
yes, that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, yes. I mean, so as Valerie alluded to, it is Family Engagement Month. And because it's Family Engagement Month, this is really our statewide day or month rather, to really honor parents, talk about and share how the community, schools, and families come together to support
Mhm.
learning and support learning at home and support our kids' educational success. Today is National Parent Involvement Day. And it is a national day, a yearly opportunity for schools and families to really, like I said, honor and highlight the powerful contributions of parents and caregivers. So we have to definitely think about our grandmothers that are
Mm.
taking care of their grandchildren, and aunts and brothers and sisters that have had to step up and be the leader at the home. So it's really our time to think about how we all are engaging in the learning process and how we're doing that together. And every family is unique. We don't all do it the same. There is no handbook on how to
Right.
be a mom or a dad or a caregiver. So that is really the point of our celebration this month, and our celebration today, our national celebration. So we join people from all over the country and all over our state today, engaging families in the learning process. And particularly as technologists, we really wanted to have a time that we can really think about how does technology play a part in engaging families in the learning process. And so kind of just looking at family engagement as a whole, parent engagement is about, well, sorry, I should say that positive outcomes for engaged parents include increasing a child's learning at home,
Mhm.
increasing support for a child's learning at home, empowering parents and family well-being. Children really see the benefit as far as their cognitive development, their academic performance, and all of those things. And so, we're really looking at even improved health when parents are engaged in learning. And, you know, what does that actually even look like? So I really wanted to kind of get your take on that, Valerie. You know, all these things I've just shared about all of the benefits of parents being involved in learning. Can you share a little bit about that too?
Yeah, throughout their educational career so far, we've been very engaged with emailing teachers, and they have apps so you can see what the grades are. You can see their absences, and now in high school, and they have that in middle school too. Like there's instant notifications where you come in class. I know if they're tardy. I know if they missed an assignment. I know if they did great on an assignment. We know everything immediately. And it does help me in some ways be able to support my child and be able to connect with the teacher too. So there's always been a really good relationship because we're able to email teachers and they respond, within 24 hours. We can discuss the child. I definitely know exactly what is going on. And it's been a benefit. And I also think that with there's pros, there's cons. Like we've been so involved that I realize now during a freshman year, I may not need to be as involved. Like I'm trying as a parent to step back, and it's really, really hard to step back. But I also recognize having so much technology. Like I said, I know if my child is tardy, and so I'm taking screenshots, texting him, "What are you doing? Why aren't you in class?" I mean, and it's immediately. And you think back to when we didn't have that much access, our parents got our report cards at 8 or 9 weeks, and that was it. So if we missed a homework assignment, they never knew. But now we know. So immediately we can help support our kids much better and make sure they succeed. But as a parent too, I'm thinking, you know what, they're going to have to manage their own time. They're going to have to manage their own grades when they get to college. So as parents, we have to think about like what is the right balance in this technology world when, fortunately we are in a position where we can have technology at our fingertips all day, every day, and we know how to use it and we know how to support our kids. So it's a benefit. And now as parents, I'm trying to figure out that good balance so that we don't have to talk about grades and homework and quizzes and tests and all of that every second of the day.
Absolutely. And it made me think about being in school, and I feel like there was always some parents that always showed up at the school. They were there, like, that's so and so's mama. She's here. She's on the PTA. She's volunteering in the front office. She's bringing the snacks. There's all different. There's all different types of those. And I think that the thing is a lot of times those moms and dads and parents and caregivers are the ones that where the children are maybe least likely to have some of the challenges that maybe others don't have, just because they're present. They're present in the building. They're building relationships with the teachers, and they are, it's like, so and so mama don't play, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I think that a lot of our educators have experiences with being able to, have so-and-so's mom on speed dial. We have to pick up the phone back then, but now it might be a situation where you could shoot a text to a child's mom for any reason. And I think it's always good. I think part of parent engagement, family engagement is really just part of it is building relationships with the people at the school, with the people that are helping to support your children in the school building, outside of the school building. And I think that overall that's the village. That's what becomes the village for your kids, at the school. And so I do think that, kind of leading into the technology side, that there can be a disconnect. So when we work with schools and we talk about family engagement, I'll say, do you want, to the leaders at the school, what do you want? Do you want the parents to be in the building? Do you want them coming here? Do you want them to show up at the workshops and at the PTA and this or that? Or do you want them involved in learning in their child's education? Because one thing technology will allow is for a parent to maybe never have to come to the school, but still be very highly engaged and involved in their child's learning. But then I think that to an extent that may also affect the relationship that that parent might be building with the school, with the teachers, because there's, to an extent, you can stay very connected and grounded without really having to have certain conversations. But
Mhm.
the human connectivity might change it a little bit. How is your experience with your kids, like teachers, especially like over the past 12 months or so?
Right. I mean, of course, we're in this, post COVID world or in COVID world still, and it's changed the dynamics. But just Monday, I had a Teams meeting with my child, well, both of my kids, guidance counselor, because we were talking about schools and colleges and which things already as freshmen, right? What things to look out for. But it was very easy for us to have a 30-minute Teams meeting. And for the counselor and for the faculty, they don't have to worry about as many parents coming into the building, because we do have things we have to worry about: the people in the building, mask wearing, temperature checks, all of that. So the technology does enable us to have these meetings without having to go through the extra process, the extra time. We're in, we out, and I think it's much more efficient that we're able to do this, and I appreciate it. So the in-person, like, I don't think anything ever replaces that in-person, but I think
Mhm.
schools are still putting things in place. So they still have maybe an in-person open house or curriculum night or something where parents can come involved. We had like coffee with the principal in the auditorium. So you can still kind of get a face-to-face and personal relationship. But again, the easy connects, the 3-4 sentence emails is something that we don't have to make a personal connection for. And actually, a lot of times teachers tend to send things and you see the teacher name in your email box and it's not a broadcast, it's for your child. You're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what did this one do now? But
Right.
I got one the other week that said good email in the email address, right?
Oh,
So you're
wow.
still personable. I think you can, even if it's not in person, you can make those interactions personable. And again, the way we support, the way we're able to do these things to forward their education and involve everybody, because now the teachers send us messages and CC the child. So
Right.
nobody is surprised. We're all on the same page of
Mhm.
where things are and where things are going. So there isn't a one-sided conversation. And I appreciate the fact that technology enables us to have a full holistic conversation.
Absolutely. I love that as well, because I am the parent that is not showing up at all the workshops, even though I help to teach parent workshops. Like, and actually my son's school don't have a lot of parent engagement activities, that now that I think about it. But now that he's in high school, they do say, Mom, come to the orientations for college, the college, what is it, the career day type of thing. They do ask parents to show up to those things, and it's really nice. And he tries to run from me in a total
Of course,
different
of
direction,
course, of course.
but that's okay. I'm not mad at him. That's the life of getting to that teenage year. So
Mhm.
I'll accept the challenge. But and I would say, speaking of that, actually, would you say you're more or less engaged as they get older in their school, like in actually, I mean, obviously the past 12
Yes,
months have been super weird, but before
right,
that,
right.
would you say more or less like kindergarten versus ninth grade,
So in their elementary school, I was that parent on the PTA, right? So
Okay.
the first grade through fifth grade, I was a parent on PTA, but I was also one of the only working moms on the PTA. So
Mm,
it's very different for me, but I was committed that I wanted to be involved. And honestly, those are the ways you hear directly from the administration, what's going on, what's about to happen, what did happen, the reasons behind things happening. And so I learned then that that was a commitment that I wanted to make. So even though my schedule, of course, like everybody else probably on this call listening, is absolutely insane, it was a commitment I made to make sure that I could be involved in their things. Now, I couldn't go to all of the stuff. So some of the meetings are middle of the day. And then
right.
middle school, not as involved, right? I pulled back a little bit. And in high school now, but they're going to a brand new STEM magnet school. And I did want to be involved because it is a STEM school and I feel like I could add value. So again, I'm back on that this PTSO. engagement and being involved with that. Now, I will say, as a now that we just talked about how we are so involved, and I'm looking at have the notifications on and coming through every 15 minutes, I've had to recently turn that off
Mm,
because I realized my blood pressure was going up if any notification came in that they weren't doing something on time or whatever, and something was missed.
feel
And
that.
I wish I had done less in middle school, right? So in
Mhm.
middle school, as a parent, we're constantly, they miss something. I'm emailing the teacher, hey, you know what? Is there any chance that they can turn this in later? Is there any chance they can make this up? Is there any, so I was doing a lot of the parent stuff in middle school. And looking back, I wish I hadn't. I wish I had let them fall more in middle school, because at high school, it's permanent. It's a transcript. You're trying to get in school and you're not
That's
going to
it.
let them fall, right?
Hmm.
So there's a lot of involvement, and again, being close to the school with the PTSO, I do get to hear what policies they're going to change and going to make, and that helps me. But not all parents have time and the ability to do that, and I recognize that. And I think that's why we're having a conversation of what can we do, right, to help parents that don't always have the time. And not that I have the time, I have to pick and choose. Like, there's a request for the PTSO members to come out and um, tie bags up for their homecoming dance of candy. No, I'm not. There's a whole lot of other stuff I have to do, right? And clients and other things I have to attend to. But then there are things that I'm definitely going to do to make sure we can help the school. But I mean, just going back to the things we talk about, all these things that we're doing, and it's amazing stuff. But the reason this organization is here, right, is because not all parents have this. And I can talk about the overload and the too much and turning the technology off, and we have
Right.
parents that don't even have the technology to be able to turn it off.
That's right.
And that's where we have to, think about this and say the conversation that we're having around parents and being everywhere and doing everything,
Hmm.
trying to teach parents how to even turn their computer on or turn on or type an email is something that we can't overlook. Like, people are getting behind because some parents have never sent an email and have never been to the school. Um,
Yep.
and so they haven't had personal engagement or technology engagement. And, that means we have to rally around those kids to make sure they excel just like we want our own kids to excel. The way we are involved in our own kids, I feel like we have to rally around some of the other kids so that they excel because they don't have the same access and opportunity. And I mean, organizations like Inspire EDU help fill in that gap.
Yes, thank you for saying that. And absolutely, I think that we, over the years, we've been around for 15 years now, and we've provided the devices and the training. And in those trainings, it is a myriad of experiences. We have very highly, parents that have the technical aptitude. They want to make sure that their child has a device, and they're there for the training and to engage with the other parents. And then you have parents that don't know how to use the mouse, don't know how to turn the device on. And we are being very intentional about creating these learning experiences where parents and the kids, or the caregivers and the child, are learning together. I
Yeah.
think that, sometimes with technology, people tend to think that the kids just already know how to do it. But sometimes that is the case. They're very savvy as far, and they're not fearful of it. That's what it is. They'll turn it on, they'll mash all the buttons. And then you have on the other side a person that might not even want to touch the thing because they think they're gonna break it. So, you bring the two learners together to try things out together and break down that fear, because I think with adult learners in technology, fear is one of the biggest
Yeah.
parts of reasons why they may not engage. And the thing that I would say to parents is that technology is deeply embedded in your child's school and education, and that's not changing anytime soon. It was almost propelled forward even faster because of the pandemic, where everyone that was really not trying to get on board with using this platform or that didn't have a choice to do that. And so now, what we've always seen is that technology was highly embedded in schools 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Right.
But today, and at the time, parents may not have had to really be as involved. But now you have a situation where students are coming to school and sitting in front of devices, and they're in front of devices for a good part of their school day
Right.
still, so you want to be on board with, well, the data that the platforms are creating can inform you as a parent so much, in so many ways, on how your child is doing. I think that's part of the reason why they're engaging with technology so much in education, because they can really start to personalize the learning process. When you have so many students in a classroom, it's hard to really figure out where one is versus another, and kind of, not kind of just teach to the middle like they used to
Right.
say. So I think, the more parents understand actually what's going on inside of the school building, especially in regards to how they're using technology or not, or how
Right.
they're not, or how your school is not using technology, maybe they should be.
Right.
And then, how are they preparing our students or how are we preparing our students for the jobs of the future? And so parents, we just have to stay connected as much as possible and ask questions, because the questions might not be they may not tell you. You might have to ask, what are you guys doing in the science class? Like, are there computers in the classroom? I asked that actually at Kingston School. Remember the first day of school, I asked the science teacher, how do you guys use technology in this class? And she said, I don't use technology in my class
Wow. Really?
at all. Yeah. She's
Wow.
like, you know, I don't really do that. She has the books and they read and they do worksheets. And I was shocked because this was just like 2 years. This was right before the pandemic. So I know that lady was shook when she had to make that transition, because she told me straight up, I am not doing that. We don't really use it that much, in our
Wow.
class. So yeah, so let me just kind of push on it, and talk to me a little bit. You alluded to it already, but let's just kind of talk a little bit about, like, what should parents keep in mind when it comes to their children's use of technology.
Well, we are in a technical world, and I think we have to make sure that we understand that we are in a different place than where we were before, right? Ourselves. I talked about before, how our parents saw our report card. So regardless of what you did between that 9 weeks, it didn't really matter. It just mattered at the end. But now you can, because we're in technology world, and understanding that our kids are going to be on technology a whole lot more, because this is just the world that they're in. But making sure that we have a healthy balance. And so I do make sure, from my perspective, that I am managing screen time during the week, so that they can make sure, so we cut out some of the distractions. It's easy for us to get distracted and go online and social media, and you click one video and it goes to another video, and it goes to another video, then you read the comments, and next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later. So, having us manage the screen time is one thing that I do. And you can almost track everything, and we do that. But I think I don't want us to do it to a fault, because again, I'm trying to balance the access and privilege that we have with, you even mentioned the parents that don't even want to touch it. So I want to make sure that they have advice and understand, what they need to do. I remember one of the things that brought me to Inspire EDU was taking for granted everything that we can do, and everything that I do for my kids, and have access to tablets when they were in elementary school, right? So all of that stuff, and letting them do educational games. So I think it definitely helped them excel, because technology wasn't bad. It was educational games. And in elementary school, what they had to do, the measures I put in place, is they had to get to a certain level in, like, Khan Academy or some
Oh.
educational game. They had to get to something before they could go play a game on that tablet.
Mm-hmm.
But if I thought about the elementary schools I went to with you all years ago, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, it's been a while. or it was
Mm-hmm.
middle. I think it was middle school.
It was middle school,
It
Brown
was
Middle
middle
School,
school,
which
and so
just got renamed. But
right. We brought some volunteers there to that middle school, and we're helping parents. And you had the parents that were absolutely afraid to touch it, like you said. And I remember this lady; she had her kids there, and her younger kids. She had a baby, right? And you could tell she wanted to do it because we were talking about the parents, but she had a baby, and the baby was trying to go to sleep. It was different, and so I remember being with her and say, you know what, I'm gonna sit right here beside you so you can see your baby. I'm gonna take your baby. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna still do this computer thing and let you get involved. And she was super excited. Like, for parents to get involved and be able to support their kids, that's all they want. And
Mhm.
it's not that they don't want to, it's just that they don't know how to.
That's
And so
right.
going to show them how, and then knowing that they had goals that they were set and then they were involved and learned how to see what their kids was doing was an amazing thing. And I just want to transition to now and the parents that we help now. So as
Yeah.
Right Now Solutions, we do a lot with kind of meeting people where they are, right, and trying to get them to the next level. And in doing that, we have a lot of career changers that come to our workforce development programs, meaning they already have a family, they went through school or they didn't go through school, but now we're helping them get into the technology field, into fair meaning jobs and higher level technologies. But then we also have one recently that we started doing with Inspire EDU with these parents, and these parents are in a transition. They're homeless and they're transitioning to stability, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we're there to do digital literacy with them. We're teaching them about hardware. We're teaching them Microsoft Office fundamentals so that they can get some of these jobs that may be just remote customer service. But you got to understand stuff like Microsoft Office in order to do that. It's different from some of the other programs where we service, where it's like, web development or cloud computing or Salesforce, whatever,
Right.
ServiceNow. But they're learning how to do this technology so they can get just jobs, so they can get their kids back, and they can understand how to support their kids. And Inspire EDU helped us with those laptops. And so every time I've turned around, like from years ago to now, you've been there to help fill the gap and help me be able to help others, right? So I'm trying to help others obtain a career in technology, or helping them obtain just a job so they can get back on their feet, so they can transition to, outside of these facility, outside of the homeless facility. But we need those parents. Those parents need these tools all the time. And organizations, I'm grateful Right Now Solutions is able to help people and parents get there. But we need support from folks like Inspire EDU to be able to do that. Like, just seeing them, we go there each week and seeing how engaged they are and ready and excited they are to get to the next step. And now, like, learning PowerPoint and teaching them how to pitch a business idea.
Okay.
And yeah, so now they are talking about what they're going to do when they, get on their feet and these business ideas, but they're having to use PowerPoint and able to do that. And they're having to use Excel in order to have a budget on how
Mhm.
they want to make this business work. So we use little tricks to try to make them learn the technology.
Yeah.
But with all of that, we use Outlook so they can talk about emails, right? They probably never
Mhm.
emailed a teacher before. So we teach Outlook and email etiquette so that they can be involved. Like this, everything is full circle, and we need these tools in order for them to be involved.
Absolutely. What came to mind as you were speaking is the village needs a village. So we are all trying to help and provide support, and we have to pool our resources and plug in where we need to plug in order to then get there. So you have the facility that's providing the housing and providing food and providing probably clothing. You're
Yeah.
coming in providing the education component to help get them to a place of stability so that they can then have their children in a stable home and have a job. We're helping to provide those digital tools, the technical support for the tools that they receive. So even when they are, when they leave the facility, when they're done with the class and they're going on to the next class or the next opportunity, they can always call us to get to make sure that their computer that they received still works and works for them. That is digital inclusion. That's what it is all about. That's digital equity, and
Yep.
that's what our organizations,
Right.
collectively are really trying to bring, to Metro Atlanta families and children, because we want to have a digitally inclusive community. We want not just some people to be connected, but all parents and children to be able to be connected so that they can then provide or have access to and know how to use, which is the really most important part, right?
Right.
Access to and know how to use the vast amount of resources that are available on through the internet, from education to just basic, everyday resources that they have to get to. So thank you, Valerie, for first of all, for all of your support throughout the years. I think that you have been an advocate for this, closing the digital divide and bringing young people in all communities to the technology space, and to spark that interest and to see where they fit and to provide opportunities for them to plug in. And I just really appreciate you and everything you do. And your children are very, very, very fortunate to have you as a mom. And
Tell them that.
I will. I'll let them
No, no, they're
know.
great kids.
And like I said, I just really appreciate it. Just kind of want to end our discussion, wrap it on up with, can you just share how people can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So the company name is Right Now Solutions. So rightnowsolutions.com. Pretty easy. Right now is W. So WRIGHT, nowsolutions.com. We're on LinkedIn, rightnowsolutions.com. You can also connect with me personally on LinkedIn. And Valerie, is it on the screen? No, it's not on the screen, but I'll put it in the chat, because my first name is spelled differently sometimes. Oh, there
Okay.
it is on the screen. There
There
you
it
go. So Valerie Wright Mackey is my name, and you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to talk about any of the trainings we offer. We do try to help youth, college students, adults, people in corporate, everything from technology training, like we've been talking about, to management training, leadership training. We are all about trying to figure out where you are and what you need to get you to that next level, whether it's technology or essential skills to make sure you excel in your career.
Excellent. Thank you, Valerie. And of course, Inspire EDU can be found at iuatl.org, Inspire EDU Atlanta, or Inspire EDU ATL on our social platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And you can always email me at ofreeman@iuatl.org. So I'm going to go ahead and end the digital discussion, but I will challenge everyone on the call today to thank a mom, thank a dad, thank a grandma, thank a parent. Let them know how much you appreciate their perseverance and everything they do to make sure their kids are learning and thriving in today's world. If you guys ever need anything, you know where to find us. Thanks so much and have a great, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for having us. This is
Thanks,
great.
everybody. Thanks, Valerie. Thanks, everybody in the chat for all you guys' great, great comments. We really appreciate it. All right. See y'all later.